the huge growth of the art scene over the last 10 years, which is quite extreme, just the number of galleries that have begun and the number of museums that have been created, which seems to be continuing. So it's a major art center, it's a major cosmopolitan arts center with the number of institutions and the amount of activities going on, which is really quite exciting. I'm Jeffrey Allen Rhodes. We used to say that my Chinese name could be Lu Gaoan because my last name is Rhodes, and so Lu. And then when I first came to Shanghai in 2010, I lived on Gaoan Lu. I'm a professor at Shanghai Jiaotong University. My area of research and teaching is around cultural heritage and new technology. I first came to Shanghai in 2010 because my wife was working at the expo in the Spanish Pavilion. And so I visited that summer for the first time. So that was my first experience of Shanghai. Like I said, we came here, we left, I think, July 31st, and so arrived August 1st. So it was kind of in the middle of everything. The biggest factor for us was at the time our son was 1.5 years old. So traveling with him and, so he's 1.5 years old. So that means 1/3 of his life had been spent during the pandemic. For him to be able to come to a city that was not locked down, where there's grandparents and he can go to classes was really quite wonderful. And so it was great to do that in the summer and to have things open up like that. But it was I'm really grateful for the efforts that everyone made to get us here. I know it was quite tricky at that time, especially at that time. But it was very well run. What a huge thing to go through the process of testing so many people every day and going through the process of quarantine, and it is quite an organizational process. It seems now, being here now, that it's taken on a very important role in the city, like art production, art exhibition, and how it's used to change neighborhoods that are developing into a different type of area, and the role of the art gallery in those places. It's interesting, right? This museum in Xintiandi uses life-size sculptures, right, to recreate this moment in modern history. So sculptures of what happened, so someone can walk in and get a feeling for the past and a story from the past. And so modern history has a particular role in the city of people being able to see stories from the last 100 years. And it seems to me that museums like this serve that role in the history museum sector in Shanghai and in China, of showing these moments more recent and bringing to life some of these stories, making you sort of see them. So I see that connection between this type of work and that museum. I love Shanghai. I love Shanghai.